Hello and welcome to another episode of Matthew Answers the Internet, the show where I'm Matthew, with a lot of your help, answer all those burning board game questions that we find along our way as we scroll and scroll. And the first question is firstly going to prompt me to say, hey, let's keep it as civil as possible, please, in the comments. But the first question is, are reviewers honest? Are reviewers honest? It's one of those questions that comes up in board games about every 6 months on Twitter or Reddit. Are reviewers honest? Is that guy honest? Are you honest? Is that person at the coffee shop honest? I don't know. Nobody knows, apart from that person. There's a problem with honesty is we want to believe, and there's no true way to know if someone is being honest. Am I honest all the time, every day, every second? No, of course I'm not. I'm a human. I'm not always honest. I think that honesty can be cruel sometimes, and I just think none of us are always honest. It's not part of the human condition to be that way. We're talking about someone's got a game. Are they telling the truth about that game? You know, they've got a board game. They're saying, hey, this is blah, blah, blah. I love it. It's the best game I've played all year. Is that person being honest? The fact is, we don't know. There's no way to know, not truly. So I think rather than asking if someone is honest, I think honestly, it's kind of on you. It's on me. Whoever's watching the video. I watch a lot of board game videos. I'm a consumer of board game content as much as I'm a content creator. And I think it is my responsibility as someone who is potentially parting with money that I have earned to do as much due diligence when I'm making a purchase. And it just makes sense that you take the responsibility as an adult to find other people who have spoken about the game. Can you play that game online before you buy it? Often you definitely can. Really, there's a lot of places to do that. Do you know anybody else that's bought that game that you can speak to them about it? Have you gone online and read the rule book, which is definitely online somewhere? And if the rule book is not online somewhere, see that as a big red flag going, hello, there's no game. The difficulty is that with YouTube, well, yes, I do have to say, legally, I have to say, money has changed hands in the making of this video. You know, I earned money somewhere, either as paid sponsorship, product placement. You have to say that, but you don't have to say what the product placement is or who gave you the money for the video. So it does make dubiousness. This video that you're watching right now has some paid sponsorship, and I'm sure the little button came up at the start of the video to say includes paid promotion because we had to tick that box. But you don't know if any of the people who made any of these games paid us to put these games on the shelf. Did Grail Games pay me to put Yellow and Yangtze there and then point it out and then mention it every now and again? No, they didn't. I actually don't know who the sponsor of this video is, but the ad is coming up. But those are things that you just have to trust me. And if you don't trust me, I have to earn that respect and that trust from you, and I hope I have specifically. But you just have to think for yourself and look at the situation as an adult human and say, do I trust this person? And then make your own decisions. At the end of all my board game review videos that I have on my own channel, I often will say, hey, please don't just take my word for it. I don't want you to buy a game on my recommendation and then hate it and then be angry at me. I don't want that. I want you to go out, find other people who have spoken about a game, go through a run through. So many people will have a complete run through of games, brand new games. I really think it's on us as a consumer to have due diligence. Are board game reviewers honest? I don't know. I think by and large, most people are honest. But because there's no way to know, it's on us as consumers just to take more time and take responsibility for ourselves. And with all that being said, it's my proud privilege to be very upfront, open and honest with you by saying hello. Next is the ad for the people who made this episode of Matthew Answers the Internet possible. This episode was made possible in part by several new dynamic card sleeves from Upper Deck. Upgrade your game and protect your cards with these awesome limited edition Marvel character card sleeves exclusively from Upper Deck, and smash open a star-shaped portal and traverse into an epic game night with American Chavez card sleeves. She's bulletproof, flame retardant and has superhuman durability. Your deck couldn't be in safer hands, especially mine. I recently dropped my mobile phone into a bucket of ranted rainwater, one random bucket on the sidewalk, and I managed to drop my phone directly into it. Maybe I should have protected my phone in a card sleeve, such as the Venom versus Carnage sleeves, which will latch onto your cards like a symbiote on an unsuspecting host. Protect your deck from injury, damage, carnage, and random buckets full of waterlogged cigarette butts, or take aim at these new Hawkeye and Kate Bishop sleeves. You have the world's greatest archers protecting your cards in style. These and a plethora of other Marvel character card sleeves are available right now. Follow the link in this video's description to find them at your friendly local gaming store and, of course, at upperdeckstore.com. Anything else is all wet. The next question, I loved this, is what board game phrase bugs you the most? What of those kind of like board game nomenclature do you hate? Really aggravates you? Let us know below in the comments. Also, again, be kind in the comments if you can, please. Especially if I'm the one that says it all the time. And I found out a whole big list, and I'm going to read a few of them, the ones that really I thought, really that annoys you? So the first one is the teach. You know, that phrase that you say. You know, now the teach, we have to do this. We're teaching the game. So how's the teach of that game? Is it long? Is it short? Some people hate the phrase the teach. I don't know what's better than that. It's a short, quick way of saying, now here's the part of the video where I teach you how to play the game and all the rules. I'm fine with the teach. It does sound slightly dramatic, I'll admit that. The second one is crunchy. Crunchy meaning mechanically dense of a game. You know, this game's real crunchy. Some people seem to hate that. I don't mind crunchy, it's fine. I don't think we should be overusing it because it loses its impact. Is it really crunchy or is it just a bit gritty? Crunchy, what do you think? While we're on this, I'll also mention the great divide between people who say mechanism and people who say mechanic. It has a deck building mechanic. It has a deck building mechanism. One of those is correct. We'll find out what you think below. Some people hate the word hype, I found in this thread. I think they hate the concept of hype more than the word hype. That seems to be the general consensus. One thing that I found I totally agree with, I kind of don't like the whole concept of the board game hall. You know, someone's gone to a convention that you couldn't go to and has also got enough money to brag about how much stuff they bought. I just find the whole idea of board game halls a little bit gauche, I'll be honest. I do think that. But I've done it. I've been like, wow, look at all the games I've got. I'm super, super excited about this new hobby. And I look at all these games I've bought. I think sometimes you have to allow people to brag about their gaming hauls because they are so excited about the hobby. And I can let that go most of the time. There were lots and lots. So please let me know your board game pet peeve phrases below. And we can congregate in annoyance in the comments. Again, kindly, please. But I will tell you my personal pet peeve. Mine is whenever anybody says discard a card. The phrase discard a card shouldn't exist. It's a ridiculous sentence. You don't discard a card, you just discard. The word discard, and I looked it up just to make sure I was right. Discard, late 16th century, originally in the sense of reject, a playing card, from dis expressing removal. So the word discard literally means discard a card. So you don't have to say it. It really, really bugs me. And I know it doesn't matter, but it gets to me all the time. And I will also say, for anybody in the comments who wants to come after me, if you look in the Oxford Dictionary, you are allowed to say dice when you mean one singular item. It's perfectly fine. It might sound a bit strange, but technically, which is the best type of correct, technically you can have one dice. I looked this up. And the last question is a question that I actually went out and asked you. And that's, what's the biggest lesson or realization you've learned about the hobby since you began your board game journey? I was really happy because I got loads and loads of fantastic answers, and I'm just going to go through a few of those answers together with you. The first one boils down to the fact that regardless of what happens, if you're having fun around a gaming table, then you're winning. And I totally agree with that, because that's why I play games. It's not to win, it's not to lose. I do like crushing Paula with victory, but it's just to have fun playing a game with people, and that is a win. There's no way that's not a win. I like that one. Daniel said, I don't need all the games, just ones I enjoy. I've had a lot of anxiety trying to keep up, as it always seemed that once I got a game, everyone was playing something else. In the end, I just stopped getting games and started enjoying playing them. Yes, chasing that FOMO, chasing that getting everything new. None of us can keep up. No one can. There's too many games. And I think a lot of the time, if you go, okay, you know what, I'm going to sit a few rounds of these new releases out and just play all the games that I've got that are fantastic. I think a lot of people come to that realization in the end. Happier here said that playing games is a great way to connect to new friends or to reconnect with old ones. The social side is, for me, the most important. I would not be playing board games if it didn't involve other people. This is a hobby that I got into to be and have and spend time with other people. And it just makes everything so good. I think games are fantastic. I love them. They're genius, clever, insightful, wonderful puzzles to solve. But they are all, to me specifically, and it seems to Happier here as well, they're all vessels, vehicles, if you like, with which to engage and have fun with other people. That's why I play games. And I think sometimes it's important to, maybe I don't forget that, but sometimes I need to reaffirm that in my mind. That it's not about getting the brand new game. For me, really, it's playing any old game as long as I'm having fun and spending time with other people. Graham says something that I really agree with, and they said that, like what you like. Don't worry about what the critics, reviewers, or the heavy is for proper gamers crowd says. Absolutely. I think that's so true. And I try to be an ambassador for that ethos, right? And I do that by showing off obscure or weird games or games that don't look good. Like what you like. There's no point in not doing that. Like what you like. It's like people who go to a bar and order the drink that they think they need to be seen drinking rather than the drink that they want to drink. Just because, play what you want to play. And I think like what you want to like. There's always other people who are going to like that. And only by displaying what you like will you find those other people to enjoy that with. Sam says something I love, with the second-hand market is active and viable. Games retain a lot of their original values, so you can prune your collection, selling something to fund your next purchase. I'll tell you right now, I would say that well over 50% of the games that I own were second-hand, were bought from flea markets, from charity shops, from maths trades, from bring and buys, from online marketplaces like Board Game Geek and Facebook. Secondhand games, there's a lot of them, and it does really help bring the price down, especially when you're searching for some strange, obscure Knizia game, which I often am. eBay, that's my hunting ground. Nick Watts says that games from 5 years ago are still allowed to be played, enjoyed and considered good games. Absolutely, I agree with that. I'd love to hear what everybody has to say in the comments about what their biggest lessons and realizations were, but I'll leave you with one more that I really enjoyed from Tuis, who says, even if you don't like a game, the right group can make it the most fun you've ever had. Yes, there's sometimes when you just get to the right group of people playing a game at the right time of night, normally like 2 a.m, when it's a terrible game that you've never liked, and you just have so much fun. And I think that's because board games are about the people that you play them with way more than they are about the game themselves. Don't get me wrong, I love a really intelligent, smart, witty game that makes you think, makes you have a lot of fun, gives you agency, all those things. But without the right people to play them with, or some friends to go along with that, I wouldn't be in the hobby at all. But that's it. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Matthew Answers the Internet. Lots and lots of things to discuss in the comments below, and I'm looking forward to seeing that again for the last time. Let's just be kind and keep it civil down there. Thank you. And until next time, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.